but you'd be nothing, would you, Harry, without your lovely wife?
Absolutely not. Sandra definitely doesn't want to come on the stage and do that with me.
Harry, I mean, you've been a massive figure in British football for decades, and yet suddenly you're getting mobbed in the street by women, by kids, whatever.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with football.
No.
They just loved you in the jungle.
Yeah, I mean, I was with Steve McMenamin last week covering a Tottenham Tranmere game. And, I mean, Macca's won 2 Champions League or European Cup winners' medals. And it was like, I've had about 150 selfies while he stood next to me. I felt terrible, you know.
Yeah. Hey, hang on,
So
Harry.
secretly pleased with yourself.
Harry, when you say you felt terrible, you must have loved it. Come on.
I'm looking at Macca. I say, I don't know what's going on here, Macca, you know, but
Has it
it's been
changed your
amazing.
life a bit, the whole experience, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I went shopping the other day. I was coming home and I popped into Marks and Spencer's. Everyone I see is like every lady is coming up to me. Harry, what are you shopping for? Jam roly-poly? And it was like... So that was great.
Sandra, behind every successful man is the rock, a woman, normally, as the saying goes. What have you made of all this?
I found it quite hard, being in the limelight more. But I've been really proud of him.
Do you know what? Piers was just talking, as you sat down, about the moment that he knew that you would win.
Yeah.
I think for many of us, it was the moment when you were asked what makes a successful relationship, and you'd said about Sandra, we just get on so well. I only want to be with her. Saturday nights we go out, something to eat. I can never wait to see her.
Yep.
And everybody melted in that moment, Sandra. Did you watch that, or were you aware of that moment and how he was describing how special your relationship is?
I found it really quite strange because he's not really open like that to the public, you know. So
Does he not normally talk about his feelings?
Not that much, no.
Is he romantic?
I always know how much he loves me and how much
How
he thinks
long have
about
you been
me.
together?
54 years.
That's
Amazing.
incredible.
You met on a dance floor.
Yeah.
Met 17, yeah.
Yeah.
And can you remember, Sandra, the moment you thought, you know what, I like this guy?
No,
I remember the moment I thought I liked this girl, but Sandra was so keen, you know.
Was it love at first sight or not, Sandra?
No.
Really? How long did it take you?
Well, we didn't sort of catch up for a few months, did we? And then we started dating.
Yeah, quicker than that. Actually, it was quicker than that. But
So Harry was a bit keener, was he, at the start than you were?
Yeah.
You were playing hard to get. What is it, do you think, that the public have discovered about your husband? That you must... I know I came down to your beautiful home in Sandbanks and we spent a morning with you. And honestly, I came away and I said, there's such a happy, ordinary, nice, loving couple. And it's such an unusual thing, actually, these days, to find people so completely content in each other's company. So I knew the strength of your relationship, but the public's now found that out. What do you think they've discovered, Sandra, about Harry that perhaps he kept hidden, that you've known for all these years, that made him, in the end, win?
Well, I think probably being a football manager, you have to sort of keep everything in and you can't let people know what type of person you are. You've got to be strong. But, you know, I knew what he's like all the time.
How would you describe him?
Well, very caring. That's one of his big qualities. And loving, yeah.
Has he ever changed a nappy?
No.
Has he ever cooked a meal for you?
No.
What?
Has he...
Toast.
I can't cook. No, Susanna, I couldn't cook
no,
an
you
egg.
had boiled egg.
I boiled an egg.
Harry, how do you cook a boiled egg?
Oh, I just put it in the water and guess.
How long would you leave it for?
It's a guesswork.
How many minutes, Harry?
I think I went for about 3 minutes. Is that good?
No, that's not enough.
No?
You want a runny egg? That's
No,
it.
No, I didn't like it too
4.5
runny.
minutes for a
was
runny
it?
egg.
Maybe I did that. I just guessed.
Yeah.
I just watched it boil and thought, well, it's had enough.
How often does he do you his Harry special boiled egg?
Not very often, because I don't like boiled eggs. Scrambled eggs.
And the one thing you can cook, you don't even like.
No.
Well, in this day and age, and you've had it with your own son, you know, marriages break up a lot these days. 1 in 3 marriages doesn't work. Yours has been such a
That now,
successful...
unfortunately.
Yeah, and I know Jamie, I know Louise well. I'd like them both very much. But what is there a problem, do you think, with younger people these days? I'm not talking about your personal family experience, but just generally, do you think people don't stick it out enough these days in marriages?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it depends. If people are not compatible, it's a problem, isn't it? And but we've not had that, so I couldn't be an expert on that. We've just never, ever looked like splitting up, or we've never, ever. I mean, if we have an argument, it doesn't last 10 minutes. I mean, we don't argue and carry it on for a couple of days.
Placid,
Sandra's,
I
you couldn't have a row with Sandra if you tried.
Really?
No.
You did run her over. That must have been a good
I
effort.
think
I mean,
that, and even then, she didn't blame me. I mean, it was like...
Well, you've had a couple of very bad experiences in recent years. One was this terrible accident, which we know, we've discussed it before on the show, but that was horrendous for you, and you suffered bad injuries. Also, just when Harry was going into the jungle, you got sepsis, which is incredibly serious. I mean, 4 out of 10 people that get sepsis end up dying. It is a really serious thing. Tell us about that, Sandra, because that must have been for you terrifying.
Well, it was a Thursday, I can remember very well, and I felt really well. Then all of a sudden, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I thought, I feel a bit strange. And then it gradually got worse and worse, and Harry wasn't here, were you?
No, actually, I was at Arsenal at doing something for the League Managers Association. I was driving home on the motorway, and my daughter-in-law rang me and said, look, don't panic, but we've had to take Sandra to hospital.
Yeah. So we called an ambulance in the end, and they came out and did all the tests and everything, just said sepsis for whatever that meant, I didn't know.
And did it come out of, because you say you were feeling well, you didn't
yeah,
have a wound or an illness?
Previously, a couple of weeks prior to that, I had a kidney infection.
Right.
Had antibiotics, thought it had cleared up, but evidently it hadn't. And
Did you know at the time how serious sepsis can be?
no, because I didn't think it was sepsis. I thought, we'll take some paracetamol, I'll be okay.
And that happened just before you went into the jungle. You recovered, obviously, thankfully.
Yeah.
But you said to the producers, didn't you, if anything happens,
for sure.
don't keep me isolated. I need to.
I wouldn't have gone in if Sandra, you know, it was like, even a week before I went in, if Sandra wasn't 100% right, I wasn't going to go, you know. But that night when she got the ambulance, they said if she'd have gone into A&E and sat there waiting to be seen, it could have been very dangerous.
You have to, I mean, sepsis happens so fast and can be so lethal. You have to move so quickly to get it treated.
Yeah.
That's the thing with it, and it's a really serious thing. On a slightly happier note, Harry's now, he's a sex symbol. There are a lot of women that have fallen for his charms from the jungle. Are you prepared, Sandra, to cope with the new battle you may face? Women throwing themselves at Harry.
Do you think I don't know when I'm well off? Jamie's always said to me, Dad, he went, you won the lottery.
Yeah.
And he was,
And is that how you feel, Harry?
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
very romantic about your wife on
Absolutely,
on
I
the show.
did win the lottery, yeah. My life is fantastic with Sandra. Really is.
So, Sandra, you're not worried about his head turning with all the female fans he now has?
I think if you've gone 54 years together, we can assume you're pretty solid.
Yeah.
No, we are solid as a rock.
We both know we're well off.
Well, it's lovely to see you, but
It's
we're going to keep...
inspiring, actually. Really
it is
inspiring.
actually. It is. I think in life, if you get lucky enough to meet someone
it's a
Of course.
luck.
early on,
Lucky
that you
enough,
actually where you're incredibly compatible, and often it's not because you're the same people. You could be very different people, but compatibility is such an important factor, isn't it? I think in any relationship, and you clearly you both lucked out really, in that you clearly are very happy with each other.
Yeah, oh yeah, every day is... We don't have any...
day's a good day.
Yeah, we have good days.
But you're
every
going
day.
off on tour again. I mean, you're going to be separated.
Yeah, I could be after about the first one. I could be shouting, "Get me out of here!" Yeah. So could the audience.
I mean, you're just exactly the same people that I met all those years ago in Sandbanks, and it's great to see nice people actually being celebrated for the right reasons.
We wake up to your show every morning. I promise you.
You do?
Oh,
Yes, I do.
absolutely.
Well, that's great. Well, in that case, would you mind telling our viewers to vote for us in the National TV Awards, Harry?
We're there next week.
You are?
Yeah,
Fantastic.
Because
I'm a celebrity.
Well, look, I need you to look down.
So we have to
Harry,
go.
look down camera one and tell the British public, as the King of the Jungle, to vote for Good Morning Britain in the National TV Awards.
Yeah, as the King of the Jungle, vote for Good Morning Britain next week.
That's my king. So somebody sent me a message, Sandra, and just said, why don't you ask, give Susanna some tips about what it's like to live with a football person? She's obviously dating the boss and owner and co-chairman, or what is he? Chairman of Crystal Palace?
Yeah.
Chairman and part owner, or co-owner. What is it?
However you want to describe it.
So have you got any advice, really, for life as a football widow?
Well, I think when they get beat, that's the worst.
Is Harry a bit of it? Does he all
good
go?
nights.
Does he go
Not very
monosyllabic?
good nights. You can't plan to go out with other people
Really?
if they get beat because, you know, they're not going to be the bundle of fun.
Yeah. Is he miserable when he loses, Harry?
Oh,
Terrible.
Yeah.
scary.
What's the worst you've ever seen him when he's after a loss?
I've been pretty low.
What would you say? What was the
Well,
worst?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know the worst particular day, but you do get low. I used to get scary. Looking back on it, it was scary how low I used to get.
Because it is all-consuming being a manager, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I really.
And very small margins, especially with relegation or getting into the top four.
I know.
Such huge financial incentives now and penalties if you don't make it.
Yeah.
But the pressure must be huge on managers.
Yeah, and I mean now it's such a short. You know, you're always 4 or 5 games away from being under pressure. You know, you can be going great, suddenly you lose 4 or 5 matches, and suddenly people are on you.
I read Peter Crouch's book. I was just telling you in the break. Very funny book, and I love him. I think he's a great character.
Great guy.
And there's just a bit in there where he can't work out whether you love him or hate him, because half the time you were buying him and then half the time you were selling him.
Yeah. Now, what happened, when we first had him at Portsmouth, we got offered £5 million for him. Portsmouth paid £1 million for him. So it was a good deal, £5 million. And then gradually we bought him. So, you know, we always sold him.
Tottenham, there he was.
Tottenham, he was
star
doing
striker.
well.
Everyone loved him. He loved playing there, loved living in London.
Yeah.
Suddenly you come in and say, Crouchy, sorry, son, I've signed Adebayor, you're going to Stoke.
Yeah.
It was brutal, Harry.
Yeah, it was brutal, yeah. Especially when you loved him so much, you know.
You've got your own book coming out.
Yeah.
It's not your first book, of course.
No,
I just
fifth
found
one.
out it's your 5th.
5.
What's
Yeah.
this one called?
I don't even know yet. We've not named it. We've got to find a name for it.
Sandra, what's the most romantic thing Harry's ever done for you, would you say? In the 54 years you've known him?
Oh, just one Christmas present. He said, oh, I didn't know what to buy you. And then I went to bed that night and it was under the pillow.
Well, it wasn't bad. The other week we did well, actually. I bought Sandra a present. I put it in a Christmas cracker.
Really?
I said, I've been in the jungle. I had no time to get you a present. And we all went round at my daughter-in-law's for dinner. And we pulled a cracker. And then...
And what was it, Sandra?
A ring.
A ring?
Yeah.
Is it you wearing it?
Yeah.
Which one is it?
An eternity
What, that
ring.
huge rock? That giant thing?
Sandra went, oh, look
That's
what
like
I've
the
got.
one. That's like the one Richard Burton gave Liz Taylor. Look at it.
Look what I've got in this cracker. I went,
And
just
Sandra,
shows you.
what was under the pillow then, and the other one?
Oh, a bracelet. Yeah.
So basically, he gets you with jewellery, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Can you show the ring? Just show the ring. Look at that. Look at that rock. That's what being king of the jungle means. You can buy your wife a rock.